Can you make your way to your seats, please, so we can prepare to commence? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the last day of plenary. I think it's always dangerous to call it a last day unless you're really sure, but I feel very confident today is genuinely our last day of plenary. We have two agenda items to deal with today. We have agenda item 19, other matters, and we have agenda item 20, the adoption of daily reports of main outcomes, decisions and required actions arising from the 69th meeting. Excuse me. We will then go to closing remarks. So it's quite extraordinary that on the first session of day 5, we've reached this point. So congratulations to all of you for enabling us to do so. As is always the case, we will start the morning session with returning to the decisions that we made yesterday, to remind you all of those. So if I could ask that those be projected onto the screen, please. And as I've done on other mornings, I will read those out. Under agenda item 14.1, the Commission requests the Science Liaison Group to consider the question of a comprehensive assessment of North Pacific fin whales and bring back a recommendation to IWC70. The next decision was under agenda item 10.1. The Commission endorsed the next steps identified in document IWC69/10.1/09 for carrying out work, lucky I'm falling apart on the last day and not earlier, carrying out work on resolution 2022-1 towards a global risk assessment on the impacts of marine plastics pollution on cetaceans, and requests a scientific committee to undertake this work in the next biennium, drawing on the scientific committee's research funds to the value of £15,000 from the lowest prioritised projects. That was also a decision. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of water. The next decision we made was the Commission requests the Science Liaison Group to consider ways in which the priorities of the Commission can be absorbed by the Research Fund when the Commission gives instructions to the Scientific Committee. The next decision was the Commission endorses the membership of the Science Liaison Group to include Australia as convener, Brazil, Iceland, Norway, Portugal, South Africa and the USA, and continues to seek participation from at least a West African party and an Asian party. Under Agenda Item 10.7, the Commission requests the Secretariat and Budgetary Subcommittee to look at the details of Uruguay's situation and relevant elements of the contributions formula and report back to IWC70 with options on how to proceed. Under 10.6, the Commission adopts the Finance and Administration Committee's report and its recommendations. Under Agenda Item 14.2, the Commission adopts the Scientific Committee's report and its recommendations. Agenda Item 17, the Commission approves the membership of the Bureau with Belgium to remain, Brazil to replace Argentina, Togo to replace Ghana, and Antigua and Barbuda to replace St. Lucia. Agenda Item 9.1, the proponents withdrew the resolution on food security but will continue to work with interested parties during the intersessional period and develop a revised resolution for consideration at IWC 70. Under Agenda Item 9.2, following consultations, a decision was not sought at IWC 69 on the draft resolution on the implementation of a conservation and management program for whale stocks aimed towards the orderly management and development of the whaling industry. Work will continue intersessionally between interested contracting parties and representatives of civil society to continue dialogue on the issues raised in this proposal and aim to bring a new proposal to IWC 70. Any efforts to meet in person will be in a manner that does not require additional resources from the Commission. Agenda Item 8.1, the Commission votes on the proposal to amend the schedule to create a South Atlantic whale sanctuary as presented in document IWC/69/8.1/01. Having not received the required numbers of votes, the proposal is not adopted. Under Agenda Item 9.3, the Commission agrees by consensus to adopt the resolution on cooperation in Antarctica as presented in document IWC69/9.3/01/Rev1. Under Agenda Item 9.4, the Commission agrees by consensus to adopt the resolution on synergies between the IWC, the Convention on Biological Diversity and the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework adopted thereunder, and the Agreement on Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdictions as presented in document IWC/69/9.4/01/Rev2. Under Agenda Item 9.5, the Commission votes to adopt the resolution on responsibilities related to commercial whaling activities as presented in document IWC69/9.5/01/Rev1. And those were the decisions made yesterday. I remind everyone that if there are any decisions we make today under our agenda items, these will be added as decisions of the Commission, and these will all be presented again as the decisions of the entire IWC 69 Commission. So with that, I think we can move to agenda item 19, other matters. And one of the other matters I wish to report back on for decision here at the Commission was a matter that has been dealt with by the Bureau and by the private commissioners meeting. This was a request from Sea Shepherd to reinstate their status as an observer to the IWC. Sea Shepherd wrote a letter which was discussed and considered at the Bureau, who felt this was an important matter that should come before the Commission. It was raised in private Commissioners' meeting, and a discussion there resulted in the following language, which I will read you. So this language was developed through that discussion by all of the contracting parties in private Commissioners' meeting. So I'll read you the words, but this will need to be, in our view, a decision of the Commission. And the words read as follows. While recognising the need for meaningful participation of civil society at IWC meetings, the Commission did not feel it was appropriate to approve Sea Shepherd's application for IWC Observer accreditation at this time, as it was not convinced that the organisation would contribute constructively in discussions on the business of the Commission. It also noted that under the current rules of procedure, Sea Shepherd could reapply for observer accreditation at any future meetings of the Commission. This was the conclusion reached by the private Commissioners in their discussion, and I would like to propose to the Commission that this now becomes a decision of the Commission. And I particularly note that last point, that the private Commissioners did feel that it was reasonable for Sea Shepherd to come back to us in the future if they so wished. They can do so under the rules of procedure. So I've read the words, and I will now offer the floor to the contracting parties to comment on this, and I offer the floor to Hungary. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman, and sorry for coming back to a previous point where we listed the decisions from yesterday. And we had just realized that under 9.5, where we voted on the resolution on responsibilities related to commercial whaling activities, the text says in the chart that the Commission votes to adopt the resolution. And I'm just wondering whether it should be clarified that the Commission adopted the resolution by votes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hungary. And yes, I think those words better reflect the decision that was made yesterday. It's clearer. The intent of that was in the letter, in the words proposed, but your suggested text is better, and I thank you for that. And I will just check that with those words, that reflects the decision made yesterday. So thank you, Hungary. So I return, and again, as I have throughout this meeting, I will take silence as assent on this issue, as all of the Commissioners had an opportunity to have this discussion and contributed to this decision, this view from private Commissioners. I'm bringing it back more formally to the plenary in the interests of full transparency on all of the decisions this Commission makes, even difficult decisions such as this one. Brazil, I offer you the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would request that the number of votes on the SALS proposal would be also part of the register. Thank you.
Yes, Brazil, I think that's perfectly reasonable. We can include as an editorial fact that the resolution, the schedule amendment proposal for the establishment of a South Atlantic whale sanctuary resulted in the following number of votes, and that this fell below the three-quarter majority. That's perfectly reasonable. Thank you very much for your intervention. Once again, I open the floor for comments, and I recognise Palau. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any comment regarding the previous points. It's only clarification on the previous on the resolution regarding whaling industry. The decision made is for the parties for the contracting governments and representatives of civil society to continue dialogue. Are we obligated to dialogue with civil societies? Thank you.
Thank you, Palau, for your intervention. I think over the last decade in particular, the opening of this Commission meeting to the involvement of civil society has led to enormous improvement in hearing more broadly the views, the many views from civil society, and from my perspective, I think this is a practice we want to continue to grow and encourage and continue. The particular words of civil society's engagement in the discussions on the particular resolution that Antigua and Barbuda brought forward, these were the words proposed by Antigua and Barbuda in how they would like to manage the dialogue around bringing forward a revised version of this resolution to IWC70. So, in my view, I would like to respect the wishes of the proponents to, as they have put it, to engage with interested contracting parties and civil society in the intercessional period. I hope that clarifies that for you, Palau. Thank you. So I see no one wishing to take the floor on the matter of the Sea Shepherd application. So this is now a decision of the Commission, and this will be added to our list of decisions for the meeting. I thank you for that. Continuing on the matter, on the agenda item 19, other matters. Is there anyone else who wishes to take the floor? I recognise New Zealand.
Thank you, Chair, and morning to everybody. Together with our colleagues Morocco, New Zealand has been pleased to serve on the Credentials Committee for this meeting. And one initiative that we would like to propose for the Chair and the Commission's consideration, if it would be helpful, is for us to develop a template, a model of a letter of credentials that would include all of the specific items according to the rules of procedure that would need to be in a letter of credentials. This would, I think, help resolve some of the confusion that we've been seeing with delegations about what their letter of credentials must include. Now, this template, if we were to do it, would not mean that countries could not submit credentials according to their own processes. Every country has their own process. I must say some of the credentials are beautiful. But our template might help ensure that whatever process the country uses, it would include the specific requirements of our rules of procedure. So I put that for consideration if that would be a helpful initiative, Chair.
Thank you very much, New Zealand. I think it's indeed a helpful and very constructive suggestion. I welcome that from the Chair. And again, I hope there's not a tally on how often I've said I take silence as assent, but I see lots of nods of approval around the room. I recognise Benin. You have the floor, please.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Excusez-moi si je demande la parole et excusez-moi si je voudrais revenir sur un point qui est déjà passé. Je ne voudrais pas intervenir par rapport à la précédente intervention, excusez-moi. Et je voudrais également, avant de poursuivre mon propos, vous demander de m'accorder plus de temps si éventuellement mon intervention devait durer. Je pense que nous sommes ici dans une commission responsable, dans une commission qui se veut intègre et qui travaille pour que nous puissions tous avancer vers un idéal commun. Et les décisions que nous prenons ici doivent quand même être des décisions respectées des uns et des autres. Si j'en parle, c'est parce que personnellement, depuis le vote hier, il y a eu des comportements vis-à-vis de ma personne que je n'ai pas du tout apprécié. Et je voudrais dénoncer cela. Monsieur le Président, si nous travaillons en commission, si nous prenons des décisions, nous devons nous accepter. Nous devons accepter nos différences. Nous devons accepter parfois que nos décisions ne soient pas acceptées, parfois que nos décisions soient acceptées. Et c'est ça qui fait tout l'objet de ce que nous appelons avoir un fair play dans le comportement. J'ai été agressé, j'ai été influencé, j'ai été intimidé et j'ai eu toutes sortes de menaces vis-à-vis de ma personne jusqu'à l'heure où je vous parle. Et ça, je le déplore et je dénonce vraiment cela. Je ne voudrais pas citer des délégations ni des gens, mais je pense que nous évoluons tous dans des groupes d'affinité, des groupes d'intérêt, et nous ne pouvons pas ici accuser une délégation ou une autre d'avoir plus la préoccupation de la vie de notre commission à cœur plus que l'autre. Toute délégation qui est ici est respectueuse des règlements de la commission, de tout ce qui est décision et de la vie de notre environnement. Et je voudrais aussi dire que la préoccupation de l'environnement est d'autant à cœur du Bénin que des autres pays ici. La durabilité, la gestion des ressources et la gestion durable de nos écosystèmes nous préoccupe autant que tout le monde ici. Donc je voudrais dénoncer et dire à la face de tous ici présents que nous devons cesser des comportements vis-à-vis d'un tel délégué ou d'un tel délégué qui peuvent atteindre l'intégrité de sa personne ou de son autorité. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Benin, for your intervention. It was a difficult intervention for you to make, and I appreciate you making it. I'm saddened to hear that that happened, and I think what I would like is for the Commission to agree a consensus view that we support the decision-making processes of this Commission, that we support the right of the credentialed delegates of voting parties to cast their vote on behalf of their country, and we respect the outcome of that vote. And that any efforts to other than discuss in a respectful way the views are not welcomed by this Commission. We have had them in the past, and I've been delighted to see that almost entirely we have not seen them expressed through this meeting. I am saddened that this has happened, but I think if the Commission can agree its consensus and universal condemnation of such behaviour, I think it goes a long way to helping us continue on the trend, the corner we have turned at this meeting in greatly improving our decision-making processes in a proper and respectful way. Can I take it that the Commission will endorse that statement, along with our support, direct support, for the distinguished Commissioner from Benin and his right to represent the views of his country with a vote on any matter at this meeting? Can we so agree? Thank you, and thank you for taking the floor, Benin. It's a very important matter. Appreciate you raising it. I have a request for the floor from an NGO, and I will allow the intervention. Please identify yourself, and because we've jumped around on an agenda item a tiny bit, if you could remind us directly on what you are speaking to. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Jeff Pantelhoff with the Whaleman Foundation, representing all of us here who want to support Paul Watson. Most of us are aware that Paul is currently being held in a Greenland prison by the government of Denmark, awaiting a hearing to see if he will be extradited to Japan. We think these actions taken by Denmark on behalf of the government of Japan sets a terrible precedent. Many of us here want to show our solidarity for his release, so please join us in the lobby after the close of this meeting for a group photo showing our support for Paul. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much for your intervention. I see no other requests for the floor. We are still on agenda item 19, other matters. Are there any other matters parties wish to raise? Togo, you've requested the floor. It's yours.
Oui, merci Monsieur le Président. Nous sommes presque vers la fin de notre session et donc au moment où nous nous apprêtons à quitter cette belle ville de Lima, nous tenons à remercier encore une fois le gouvernement du Pérou et le secrétariat de la CBI pour la parfaite organisation de cette session. Cette ville, nous, on la connaissait à travers l'histoire et la géographie. Ce fut un plaisir que nous soyons arrivés à ce coin. Nous tenons aussi à féliciter l'Australie pour la proposition d'organiser la 70e session de la CBI. Et à ce niveau, nous tenons à soulever certaines préoccupations. C'est dans l'Océanie et c'est une zone merveilleuse que nous aimerions visiter aussi. Et je pense qu'il y a eu déjà deux réunions, je pense, une session de CBI et une réunion de l'Organisation des États ACP, Caraïbes-Pacifique, dans la zone. Et nous avons eu des difficultés à y arriver. Même une fois, j'ai été refoulé au niveau de Hong Kong parce que je n'avais pas le visa pour transit en Australie. Et donc, à ce niveau, je pense entre-temps, l'Australie avait mis des visas en ligne pour donner les visas en ligne et nous soutenons cela. Et si, Monsieur le Président, vous pouvez faire quelque chose avec les affaires étrangères, le ministère de l'Intérieur pour que nous puissions avoir les visas facilement pour arriver en Australie pour la 70e session. Merci infiniment.
Thank you very much, Togo, for your remarks, and we will certainly come in closing remarks to expressing gratitude to the host country and others. On the particular matter of visas, please be assured that we will work as a whole of government towards a successful meeting, and we would anticipate as best as we can that the process of visas, which we know is important and is always a bit of an issue in moving to different countries, Australia will certainly ensure as best it can that everyone, all parties to the IWC have as few issues with the visas as we can manage. I have an IGO, I think it is IUCN requesting the floor, I think. No, please, whoever it is, please go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, my name is John Hobson Jr. from the Alaska Eskimo Whaling Commission. Chairman, we have a lot of people to be thankful for this week, including yourself, Mr. Chairman, for hosting a well-led meeting these past 5 days. Thank you. Next, we have to thank the government of Peru for hosting this meeting and being a wonderful host to every one of us. Thank you, Peru. First, I'd like to thank this commission for all the work that they've done through the scientific committee and also making sure that we have the right to continue to hunt our bowhead whales. You have done this in a historic manner where not one country, not one contracting government has objected. This was done by consensus, and we thank you all very, very, very much. I'd like to thank our U.S. delegation up front there for all the work that they've done, the working relationship we have them, Ryan, you and your team, in getting us to where we are today. We've put in a lot of hours to provide a proposal that we can live with. Thank you to our staff, IWC staff, for all the work that they've done. They've probably put in 1,000 more hours than we have in working with our government and making sure that we are where we are today. Our commissioners that are here, we have Herbert Kinnevet from Point Hope, we have George Collette from Kapdovik, Crawford Putkodak from Barrow, that have gone a little over 7,000 miles just to be here today to make sure that we can continue to hunt our bored whales for the next 6 years. So thank you guys for getting here. The North Slobora Wildlife Department for always providing the scientific information that is needed for the scientific committee so that we can show you that the whale is manageable and sustainable. The work that they've put in making sure that this whale is probably the most studied whale on Earth. We have the most information on this because of your direction, your requirements. But we do want to thank the North Slobora Wildlife team. We also have chairman of our WIP team, Harry Brower Jr., who's put in many years working with this commission. Many years, many more years than we all have collectively have been coming to these IWC meetings to make sure that we can continue to hunt. Thank you, Mr. Brower. Just wanted to say thank you. God bless you all. We all wish you a safe travels back to your hometown. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, John, and the AEWC for your intervention. Netherlands, you've requested the floor, please.
I think you pressed the button by mistake, perhaps.
I'm sorry, Chairman, we're not so sharp anymore either, so it's pressed the button by mistake.
That's fine. I'll just remind delegates that the time for thanks and reflections on the meeting will come up in a couple of moments after we've dealt with agenda item 20. So those more general reflections on the meeting and thanks, which are desperately important, will come up in a little while. Panama, you've requested the floor.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Quisiera muy brevemente felicitar al Seno de la Comisión por el excelente trabajo de intercambio que se ha realizado. Sin embargo, distinguidos comisionados, detrás de este trabajo tan eficiente que hemos tenido, siempre hay un equipo impecable, que es el staff de la Secretaría, quienes han organizado con mucha anticipación y han garantizado que cada detalle para que todos podamos estar aquí, trabajar y compartir, se dé. Debemos seguir fortaleciendo a la Secretaría. Quiero felicitarlos porque a su vez a todos los comisionados podamos gestionar los fondos para que la Secretaría continúe funcionando tan eficientemente como hasta el momento lo ha hecho, pues es la responsabilidad del seno de esta comisión. Muchísimas gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you very much, Panama. So I would now like to close agenda item 19 and move to agenda item 20. This is the adoption of daily reports of main outcomes, decisions and required actions arising from the 69th meeting. Those decisions taken each day have been included, will be included in the main outcomes report. And you've seen, and I have read to you each day what those decisions are. We will be adding two things to those decisions. One will be the decision on the application from Sea Shepherd that I've read out. And the second will be the collective consensus view from the Commission condemning the kind of interactions that we heard from the delegate from Benin, our soon-to-be substantive vice chair of the Commission. And I think those words were recorded carefully that I said, and to which you all agreed. So that will also be a statement from the Commission and an outcome from the Commission, because it's important to have it on the record. So we will have a full document. Can we confirm from all of you, please, that the full document, which will include each of those daily outcome decisions, including the 2 for today, can reflect the decisions of the meeting for IWC 69. And I hope for the last time I'll be saying I take silence as assent. I see no one requesting the floor, and it is so decided. The Commission adopts the main outcomes report for IWC 69. And I will be circulating the Chair's report as per Rule of Procedure P2. So you will see a copy of that. With that, I think we can close agenda item 20 and move to closing remarks and statements. We're going to have an order of doing this, and my proposal is I will say a very few words, and then I will pass to our Executive Secretary for some words, and then I will say a few more words, and I may not look down at the 3-minute intervention clock, you'll be horrified to hear, but I won't abuse my privilege too much. I would ask for this session of closing remarks that the Secretariat staff come from their office, where the wheels of industry have been turning to keep us all able to work here. If they could come from there and come up and join us in a visible place around the front of the plenary room as we go into these closing remarks. So I'll give them a few minutes to come up, and I will just cease proceedings for a few minutes while everyone gathers there. You can chat among yourselves, and then I will call us back to order, and we will move on to those closing remarks and finishing the business of the IWC 69 meeting. So with that, what I would like to do is to firstly pass the floor to our excellent Executive Secretary for her remarks. And as I said, I will then make some remarks myself, and I will open the floor at that time. So Executive Secretary, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to start my thanks by recognizing a very dear colleague. I think that those of you who have been participating in the IWC know this person very well. So this is Stella Duff. Stella has been with the Commission for 44 years. She started on the 1st of December of 1980 at the tender age of 22. As a publications assistant, and she progressed and has been working as a senior editorial assistant. So all these documents that you use for your deliberations are the results of her excellent work. So Stella, I'm going to tell you some very, very compelling numbers. She has worked with 5 executive secretaries. She has attended 26 commission meetings, 26, 30 scientific committee meetings, and she is a custodian of the IWC archives, and it's our source and encyclopedia of IWC knowledge. On a personal note, Stella has a penchant for drambuie and loves to finish off a long day with a little tipple. As this is the last meeting of IWC where we are going to have the joy of having Stella with us, I want to take this opportunity to thank her sincerely from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure that you will do the same, and to wish her a very happy retirement, and not to stay too far away, because I'm sure that we still have a lot of questions to ask her. So thanks, Stella. If you could come, please, to the podium. Thank you so much for joining in this very special moment for our dear colleague. And I'm going to now continue with the thanks. Very briefly, Mr. Chair, because, but there is a list that I have to go through because this reflects, like the collective efforts of so many. I would like to start by thanking the government of Peru, our host, with whom we worked very closely for many months, and it has been really a very, very, very good experience to work with them. I would like to thank you all, contracting parties. This is your commission, and it is really the result of the excellent meeting. It's really a tribute to your hard work. And I would like to thank also our observers, who are a very important part as well. I want to say special thanks to the chair, Amadou Diallo, who unfortunately could not be with us. And I want to thank him because I worked very closely with him, and he had a very important role in preparing and making this meeting a success. I want to thank our acting chair, Dr. Nick Gale, for stepping up and taking this role and to so ably leading this meeting and to take us here. And I'm sure that many of you will be joining in these thanks. Thank you, Nick. There are many parts, like of the wheel that you mentioned that I would like to now come to thank our interpreters. Thank you so much, because this is really important in ensuring that all of us and all the delegates can participate. Our excellent rapporteurs who have been following every word and every comma that you have mentioned. The hotel staff, including our security staff, who not only have been providing security, but being very graceful with all of us. The audiovisual team, and lastly, but not lastly, my excellent team. I want to recognize Mark Tandy, our head of external affairs, who is the lead for organizing this meeting and to get the wheel turning with big and small things, all of them important. The other members of the management team, Ian Staniland, Nikki Bartmeyer, Ian, the head of science and conservation and management, and Nikki, the finance and administration head. I cannot list all of them, but I want to thank each of them. As I mentioned at the beginning, some are here, but other colleagues with whom we connect every morning in our staff meeting are helping and doing the work from afar. And I want to thank each of you, my team, because all the work that you do, each contribution is really important for this complex organization and event like this. So thank you to all of you. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Executive Secretary, and I will come to my thanks in just a moment. But I will take advantage of being in the chair's position to offer you some reflections, if you don't mind, on the meeting we've just concluded. I will start with a thank you, though, to the manner in which all of you have conducted yourselves, and I am truly very grateful for that. In the lead up to this meeting, many of us saw papers published in high-profile journals stating that this commission was incapable of decision-making, would not address pressing needs of parties in the modern world, and was indeed a zombie commission that should wind up its functions and cease to be. To slightly butcher a quote from Mark Twain, I say to them, the predictions of the death of the IWC are greatly exaggerated. I ask you to look at what we have achieved here in this beautiful city of Lima. We have all remained true to our commitment to the hunters and communities of our ASW countries and rolled over by consensus and without vote or rancour the catch-strike limits for the whales that play such a major part in their lives. As we have heard from the proud Inupiat delegate from the US, this one action represents a real step in the re-establishment of trust between the ASW hunting communities and this commission. If this was all we had achieved, it would have marked a major success for the IWC. But we've achieved so much more. In the interest of time, I'll only highlight a few. We've shown that on matters that have and continue to divide us, we can prosecute our arguments and views with clarity and respect. Where appropriate, we sought our decision-making process. Where appropriate, we subject those discussions to our decision-making processes and accept with grace the outcomes. And I thank the manner in which the representatives from the Buenos Aires group took the floor after the vote on a matter that is deeply important to them, accepted that with grace at the time there, and I thank them for that. Where it is clear that more time might help us find common ground, proponents have withdrawn difficult and polarised resolutions and committed to embark on further collective negotiations in the intercessional period. And here I genuinely thank as well the Republic of Ghana and Antigua and Barbuda for the manner in which they did that and the words they used. We've celebrated the extraordinary achievements of our scientific committee, a committee on which the credibility of our decisions and the progress of our commission rely. Yes, we know the consequences of our budget pressures on the scientific committee and indeed of all of the work of this commission, but we continue to enhance the manner in which we learn about the work of the scientific committee and now embark on improving the manner in which we, the commission, instruct them on our priorities and needs. We also celebrated the amazing progress and achievements of our Conservation Committee. In today's world, the management and conservation of the world's whales requires us to address important old, new and emerging threats. The actions on bycatch, disentanglement, ship strikes, strandings, marine debris and a suite of other initiatives should be something that we are all proud to be a part of. To see these actions take shape in the collective action of range states in the form of conservation management plans is yet another cause of celebration. Governance and administration are rather dry subjects, but are fundamental to the roles that have underpinned the fairness and the balance of how we ensure the rights of all parties to participate in debate and determine in a democratic manner the outcomes and decisions of this Commission. On this topic, we have made great steps at this meeting and have a future work plan to further ensure the IWC is efficient, fair, and effective in its business. What is also clear from this meeting is that the greater the number of parties who gather at a meeting, the better our decision-making processes are. And I thank you all for making the efforts to come here to Lima to participate in these decisions, and I encourage all parties to the convention to engage in our biennial meetings and improve and enhance our decision-making processes. There are many other successes I could list, including our improvements in dealing with welfare issues of whales and our effective alignment and cooperation with other appropriate bodies. But I will conclude, really, by reflecting that at almost 80 years of age, the IWC, in my strong view, has never been more relevant globally. I've gone way over my 3-minute time limit, so I will leave my remarks at that and indulge myself with just some really important thank yous. I firstly go to our host country, to Peru, and I thank their wonderful commissioner. Julio, you've done an extraordinary job representing your country. I hope your country are proud of you, I'm sure they are. To the ambassadors who opened our meeting. To the ambassadors who opened our meeting, and honestly to all of the people of Lima who we have all interacted with in the hotel, in the restaurants, on the streets, around the place. I know we've all felt warmly welcomed, and we've had a wonderful insight into your beautiful city, and I hope at least some of us get an opportunity to include some other parts of Peru in our explorations and experiences. So thank you, Peru, for hosting the IWC69 meeting. Next, I want to just reflect and thank our chairman, as we heard from Marta a little while ago. It was a really exciting moment at IWC68 when a West African French-speaking chair was elected. This is a really important step for the IWC, so that we truly get to see the reflection of the parties who are part of this convention reflected also in its leadership. Amadou worked incredibly hard with the Bureau in the intercessional period, working with the Secretariat, with the Executive Secretary, with me as Vice Chair and everyone to make sure this was a successful meeting. So he had a very successful chairing role. It was really unfortunate that for those reasons, the various reasons, he couldn't make it here to actually lead the meeting. He deserved that opportunity, and we all regret he wasn't here. But nevertheless, it does not diminish the contribution he made to this commission, and I hope you can all join me in thanking Amadou most sincerely for all he did. And before we thank him, the positive note is that we were thrilled to see elected another French-speaking West African representative as Vice Chair from Benin, Dr. Brito. So we will see that representation of leadership from these parties continue in the IWC. But will you all join me now in thanking most sincerely Amadou Diallo, the chair of the International Whaling Commission. I next want to thank the wonderful person on my right, Marta Rojas Orrego, our Executive Secretary of the IWC. This is Marta's first meeting, and honestly, you've executed everything you've done extraordinarily well. Your leadership, your careful consideration of all the things. I could not have done this without you. Thank you so much, Marta. Now, Marta leads the Secretariat We've thanked Stella. Thank you so much, Stella. But thank you to all of the members of the Secretariat. It's an extraordinary job you do. I see the hours they work. I get emails very early in the morning, very late at night, dealing with the business that we go through each day. It's incredibly difficult to make the wheels run properly for a meeting like this, and it would not happen without the dedication, the experience, and the work of the Secretariat. So thank you all so very much for all of your contribution. I want to thank, this is all muddled in order, so there's no priority for who's the most thanked here, but so I will be jumping around. But I do also want to thank all the chairs, conveners, organisers of all the working groups, the subcommittees that enable the work of the Commission to be done intersessionally. It's a dedicated role, a huge number of hours done, multiple Zoom calls, writing documents, not a lot of fun at a lot of times, but an essential service. So I thank all of those people who have contributed to all of the subcommittees and their working groups and of this fine commission. Thank you all so much for all you've done in the intersessional period and here at the meeting itself. I want to thank the Bureau, its outgoing and incoming members for the support they offered our Chair, Amadou Diallo, and me as Vice Chair, and the rest of the Commission for the service they provided through the intersessional period. Thank you all so much, and I know that will continue beyond this meeting as we lead up to IWC70. So thank you to the Bureau members. I want to say a few people said to me, Nick, I think you've got the hardest job here running the meeting, and well, it is hard, I do agree with that, but I think there are two harder roles here, and I think those two roles are those of the interpreters and those of the rapporteurs. I would rather sit up here and take on the challenges of chairing than either of those two roles. As for the interpreters, we all speak at different pace, with different clarity, with different accents, and yet the interpreted words come through in almost exactly real time, and the amount of concentration and effort to deliver that to us, to enable us to do our business so efficiently, is enormous. The rapporteurs are recording all of that in longhand and then reporting and summarising that in text that they know will be subject to huge scrutiny and checked by us. And invariably the text is perfect and we accept it. So to the interpreters and to the rapporteurs for all of their hard work, can we please show our appreciation? I'm nearly there. I also want to thank the IT and comms teams who have enabled the speakers to work, all of the switching between us to work seamlessly, and the presentation of slides and pictures on the screens. It's a huge task. It's a big rolling machine to move all of this equipment between venues, plug it all into a new hotel venue, and make it all work well for us. So to them also, thank you so much for all you've done and for managing it in a way that made this meeting run so smoothly. Thank you. And I want to thank the hotel staff throughout the hotel, but I want to particularly focus on the security staff at the doors, who every time I walked in and out of this room, I was met, as I know all of you were, with a smile and a welcome, and yet they did so with such grace that they forced us to go in one door and out another in such a gentle and effective way. So we thank all of you as well for managing the meeting securely. And finally, as I opened with, I thank again all of you. Thank you so much for abiding by my rather strict rules of 3-minute interventions. I noticed that after the first day and a few cut-offs, you were all getting very expert at timing your interventions, some down to the second of the 3-minute period. I thank you for that, but I also thank you for helping me in the manner in which we could make decisions, taking the floor when you needed to, and being careful to ensure that we made decisions efficiently and effectively. So genuinely, to all of you, thank you so very much. And from me, I look forward to seeing all of you, I hope, and more, in Australia in a couple of years. And we'll be announcing where that place is as soon as we can when we get back home. So thank you all so very much. So with that, I open the floor for any closing remarks from the floor. And after we have heard those closing remarks, I will use this instrument for the first time in the meeting and draw the meeting to a close. But I will make a couple of announcements, and perhaps Marta will need to add to a couple because I won't remember. But we do wish to take a photograph of this fine group of folk. And so after we have closed the meeting, we will do so in this room up here. I think Kate will shepherd everyone into the right position. So when we have closed, and I'm sure there'll be lots of chat and handshaking and parting words, but if you can, before we get too far into that, come up here so we can take a photograph of everyone as a record of the meeting, of this 69th meeting in Peru. And I'll hand to Marta for any other announcements.
Thank you, Chair. So in addition to the photos, some practicalities, we will be doing a survey as usual, and we really invite you to scan the QR code that is placed. Mark, where is it placed? Sorry. Outside of the room. And this is really important because we want to improve every time and to learn lessons. So if you could kindly do that, we would really appreciate it. We also ask you to please drop your badges when you go out, because with good practices, especially like with our commitment to reducing the plastic use, these are not single-use plastics, and we would like to recover them. And we would appreciate it if you could please drop them when you go out. And these are my announcements, Chair.
Thank you very much, Marta. I now open the floor to any closing remarks from contracting government, before I will then turn to the IGOs and NGOs if they wish to take the floor. Are there any contracting governments who wish to take the floor? I see Hungary. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. The EU and its member states that are party to the ICRW thank the government of Peru for organizing this meeting and for all the great hospitality we experienced wherever we went in the city, and congratulate Australia for being chosen our next host. Thank all contracting governments for their constructive spirit and cooperation throughout the meeting, where, thanks to our collaborative efforts, we could make important achievements during IWC69. We would like to thank the Secretariat for their tireless work in the preparation and all their assistance during the meeting, and especially congratulate our new Executive Secretary, Marta, for her first and very successful IWC meeting. Congratulations also to our Chair, Nick, for his very efficient and professional leadership and for guiding us through this complex and very difficult agenda. And we also like to congratulate our new Vice Chair, Dr. Brito, for his appointment, and we wishing you, both of you, the best in your new role. And last but not least, we would like to thank everyone behind the scenes, interpreters, rapporteurs, the IT staff, the hotel staff, and everyone whose work was invaluable for the success of this meeting. We look forward to working with all of you in the intersessional period leading up to IWC 70, and wish everyone safe travels back to your home countries. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Hungary. Panama, you have the floor.
Gracias, señor presidente. Quisiéramos agradecer al distinguido Gobierno de Perú por tan excelente hospitalidad. Señor presidente, Gracias por llamarnos a un diálogo constructivo que, a pesar de que tenemos puntos de vista diferentes, los hemos podido expresar en el marco de respeto. Felicidades a la señora Marta, ha tenido una excelente reunión en su primera gestión. Damos la bienvenida al doctor Brito, también sabemos que va a hacer un excelente trabajo. Como una de las comisionadas más nuevas, me siento muy orgullosa de que a los ojos del mundo hemos demostrado la toma de decisiones a los más altos estándares del diálogo, negociación y sobre todo de camaradería. Siempre es un placer poder verlos y poder compartir con ustedes en persona. A los distinguidos traductores les agradecemos que han hecho un excelente trabajo de hacernos entender los puntos de vista a pesar de nuestras diferencias de acentos y velocidad de hablar. Otra vez hacemos un llamado a todos los comisionados, distinguidos comisionados, debemos seguir fortaleciendo al staff de la Secretaría para que podamos tener un excelente trabajo como lo hemos tenido hasta el momento. Quisiera también a su vez solicitar amablemente que podamos gestionar fondos para que la Secretaría continúe funcionando, pues es nuestra responsabilidad en el seno de esta comisión. Así como lo expresó nuestra Secretaria Ejecutiva, somos el motor que hace que todo sea posible. La Secretaría lo es. Gracias a Australia por el ofrecimiento y la disposición para tener la siguiente reunión y a todos distinguidos comisionados, nos vemos prontamente en Australia.
Thank you very much, Panama. Côte d'Ivoire, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je voudrais encore une fois remercier le peuple péruvien, le gouvernement, pour toutes les facilités dont nous avons bénéficié durant notre séjour. Je félicite particulièrement le Président, le secrétariat et tout le staff technique pour avoir dirigé nos travaux durant cette semaine dans une ambiance de respect et d'impartialité. Félicitations aussi à la nouvelle équipe élue. Nous remercions l'Australie pour avoir accepté de nous recevoir pour la 70e réunion de la CBI. Nous sommes tous engagés dans une même embarcation qui est la planète Terre, que nous devons à tout prix préserver dans sa diversité humaine, culturelle et biologique. Chacun a des objectifs spécifiques, mais ensemble nous avons un objectif commun, qui est une vie meilleure et un avenir plus sûr pour les générations futures. Mais comment préparer l'avenir dans un présent incertain avec des défis basiques? Comment proposer une exploitation de loisirs des espèces à des populations qui peinent à assurer un repas quotidien? Je me tourne donc vers le comité scientifique, tout en le félicitant pour les résultats obtenus. Je voudrais exprimer les grandes attentes que nous mettons dans leurs travaux futurs, dont les résultats nous permettront de mieux communiquer, de mieux nous comprendre, afin de pouvoir s'engager et prendre des décisions objectives. La survie des baleines en dépend, l'avenir de la planète est en jeu. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Côte d'Ivoire. Argentina, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Y quisiéramos sumarnos a los agradecimientos, destacando en primer lugar a nuestros anfitriones, al gobierno del Perú y a sus autoridades, en la persona de nuestro querido Julio, por la organización de esta impecable reunión plenaria, por habernos recibido en esta hermosa ciudad de Lima, en la que nos hemos sentido como en nuestra casa. A usted, señor presidente, por haber conducido esta reunión de manera tan extraordinaria y habernos llevado a estos resultados positivos en un marco de respeto y de manera constructiva. Creemos que su tan hábil dirección ha contribuido a estos resultados. Queremos agradecerle asimismo en su persona a Australia por el ofrecimiento de ser sede de la próxima reunión plenaria donde esperamos estar presentes. Agradecer, por supuesto, a la Secretaría y en especial a Marta Rojas, que ha demostrado su enorme capacidad de potencial con estos resultados, a todo el personal que la ha apoyado por el enorme trabajo realizado y por el trabajo que han venido realizando silenciosamente de hace tantos meses. Queremos agradecer también a todos los compañeros de las delegaciones y a los representantes de la sociedad civil que con su presencia y su trabajo cotidiano nos han ayudado a lo largo de todos estos días, por el apoyo, por los intercambios, por el enriquecimiento que hemos tenido, aún teniendo muchas veces puntos de vista diferentes, entre ellos en especial a los países del Grupo Buenos Aires por el trabajo coordinado y sin descanso y por su compromiso de siempre. Y por último, agradecer el apoyo de los intérpretes, del personal del hotel, del de seguridad y por supuesto a todo el pueblo peruano por su hospitalidad. Nuestro país sigue comprometido, como siempre, con la Comisión Ballenera Internacional y esperamos con ansias reencontrarnos en Australia, en la plenaria número 70 y alcanzar los propósitos que nos hemos propuesto. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Argentina, Brazil, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I associate myself to Brazil associates itself to the commentaries and the remarks that were made by other delegations in expressing our sincere gratitude for the work of the Secretariat under high pressure, in a high pressure situation, especially Marta Rojas, which is an excellent interlocutor. Thanks to you yourself for your very elegant and professional work in the circumstances in which we have divergent viewpoints and we're able to move forward in a very efficient way. And I would also lend some words from our Argentinian colleague in extending our gratitude to the NGOs that play such an important role in this IWC context. And of course, I would have to have it mentioned, first of all, the Peruvian government and Peru. It's a joy for a Brazilian to, and I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of my whole delegation, to be in this country we really love. And last but not the least, it's also a joy to congratulate our neighbor from the other side of the Southern Atlantic, Benin. Alors, mes félicitations au Dr. Brito pour sa nouvelle fonction comme vice-président de la CBI. So, thank you, and thank you for the local organizers, interpreters, and their team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brazil. And New Zealand, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. We would like to add New Zealand's thanks to the government and people of Peru, the whole IWC Secretariat team, led by its wonderful Executive Secretary, Marta, to our Chair from Australia, Nick, for your clear, fair and disciplined approach. And of course, congratulations to the incoming Vice Chair, Benin. But above all, I'd like to thank all of us, the member countries, the non-member countries, the international organisations, and the committed and hard-working civil society NGOs for coming together in that spirit of engagement and respect. New Zealand believes the IWC is resilient, efficient, and functioning. So thank you very much, and I wish everyone safe travels home. Thank you.
Thank you, New Zealand. Recognize the Dominican Republic.
Muchas gracias por permitir a unir nuestra voz a este coro de agradecimientos. Estoy segura que los que no hablarán aquí en público sentirán las mismas palabras expresando enorme gratitud al país que nos recibió, al gobierno de Perú, a todos participantes en la logística que nos acogió con tanta calidez en estos días, Muchísimas gracias desde República Dominicana a permitirnos ir cobrando la experiencia en participación en esta reunión. No somos muy antiguos miembros en participación en las reuniones, pero sentimos que la experiencia que nos proporciona esta participación, la atención de todas las estructuras de la comisión en apoyo, darán muchísimos frutos para podernos crecer en nuestros hitos, para poder mejorar internamente, nacionalmente, todo lo que se refiere a la conservación de los cetáceos. Y también esperamos contribuir a todo lo que sea posible en información, en prácticas y en experiencia desde nuestro país, que tiene nuestros tesoros en diversidad de los cetáceos y de mamíferos marinos, para compartir con otros países en otras ocasiones, en otras reuniones, en diferentes comisiones. Eso es lo que esperamos, con una firme fe de que esta comisión va al camino de progreso, de mejoramiento. Nuestra particular apreciación es a la labor de la magnífica secretaria, con su equipo magnífico de secretaría. Muchas gracias, Marta, por todo. Y apreciamos enormemente la capacidad de conducción de nuestro presidente de esta reunión. Muchísimas gracias, señor presidente, por llevarla de esta forma. Muchas gracias a todos los colegas presentes, a los colegas del Grupo Buenos Aires en particular, que hemos preparándonos antes de la reunión para tener una representación regional. Para nosotros ha sido enorme experiencia. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Dominican Republic. India, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. India would like to express its gratitude to the Commission and the Government of Peru for hosting this meeting. We would also like to congratulate Australia for being the next host, and you, Chair, and Dr. Brito for being elected Chair and Vice Chair. India hopes for renewed engagement in several arenas, and we're in discussion with several committees, and we hope to take it forward. We would like to also thank the Secretariat for all their support, and would like to extend congratulations to you, Chair, in the efficient yet kind manner with which you conducted the meeting, and we wish everyone safe travels back home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, India. Benin, please, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. À notre tour, nous aimerions associer notre voix à toutes celles qui nous ont précédés pour remercier le gouvernement péruvien et tout le peuple de Pérou pour avoir accepté abriter cette 69e session de notre commission. Au secrétariat, je voudrais également dire merci pour tout le travail abattu, à tous nos chers collègues distingués, délégués et délégations des pays ici représentés. Je voudrais dire merci et félicitations pour tout le travail et l'ambiance dans laquelle nous avons pu faire notre semaine de travail ici sur la terre hospitalière et cette splendide ville de Lima qui nous a accueillis pour notre réunion. Je ne manquerai pas, Monsieur le Président, de vous féliciter particulièrement pour la manière dont vous avez conduit les travaux, étant entendu que vous ne saviez pas dès le départ que le président titulaire serait absent et qu'il vous reviendrait la lourde responsabilité de conduire les travaux. Donc, c'est à votre actif et nous aimerions vraiment apprendre de vous. J'aimerais remercier également nos prédécesseurs, le Brésil en particulier et la Nouvelle-Zélande pour leurs mots de félicitations et tous ceux qui ont joint leur voix à celle du Brésil et de la Nouvelle-Zélande pour nous accueillir pour notre élection. C'est un honneur que vous faites à nouveau à l'Afrique de l'Ouest, à mon pays et à ma personne, à mon humble personne, pour vous assister, travailler avec vous pour conduire notre commission à bon port. Ce n'est pas facile pour un pays francophone d'entamer quelque chose pour laquelle, de façon naturelle, c'était les autres langues. Je compte sur chacun de vous, je compte sur le secrétariat, je compte sur tous les membres de la commission ici présents pour nous accompagner. Monsieur le Président, nous avons à apprendre de vous. Merci pour la façon dont vous avez conduit les travaux et je vous remercie à chacun de vous. Bon retour.
Thank you for your kind words, Benin, and I look forward to working with you over the next 2 years. United Kingdom, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. The United Kingdom wishes to join others in expressing our sincere thanks to the Government of Peru for their hospitality in hosting IWC69 in this beautiful city. We would also like to extend our thanks to you, Chair, and to the chairs of the subcommittees for expertly steering us through the critical work that we have had on our agenda. You have set a constructive and respectful tone to our proceedings that is a credit to both you and all our membership. We also want to extend our sincere thanks to Executive Secretary Martha Rojas, alongside the Secretariat and the entire support staff who have been pivotal in allowing us to do our work. We extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Brito as incoming Vice Chair and extend our thanks to contracting governments, non-contracting governments and civil society, all of whom have been engaged in these important discussions to bring together the breadth of views across the IWC. As you, Chair, have noted, this is a historic meeting of the Commission that has delivered outcomes for all its membership in its role as the global body with a mandate for the conservation and management of cetaceans. The United Kingdom remains steadfast in our support for the work of the IWC to address the many threats that cetaceans are facing in a rapidly changing world, and we very much look forward to meeting again in Australia at IWC70. Thank you.
Thank you very much. United Kingdom, United States, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. The United States would also like to join other speakers thanking Peru for their wonderful hospitality. We have really enjoyed our time here in Lima, and they have been remarkable and generous hosts. To the Secretariat staff, the rapporteurs, the interpreters, we extend our deepest gratitude for all of your hard work. We'd also like to acknowledge the New Zealand and Morocco. It's our Credentials Committee, usually a thankless job, but are well aware of the many, many hours that they put in, not just at this meeting, but at other meetings, helping facilitate our work. I would also like to join others welcoming the changes to leadership that we have adopted at this committee, not just for the Commission, with you, Dr. Gills and Dr. Brito, but also our Scientific Committee, as well as the changes that we have appointed to the Bureau, which is a very important body in facilitating these new leaders in the intersessional work of the Commission. And finally, Martha, thanks to you. You've done a fantastic job as our new Executive Secretary. You have come on seamlessly. It is always a challenge to take on the work of this Commission. You did it in between an intersessional period, and you have done it remarkably, and as well to you, our Chair. It is not an easy task to step into this role when you're expecting it, much less when you're not, and you have done remarkably and set an exemplary standard for those going forward. So we appreciate all your efforts, and we look forward to working with you and joining you and everyone else in Australia in 2026.
Thank you very much. United States, Australia, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, we also want to say thank you for your excellent chairing. Your steady hand and clear and fair guidance has been a major factor in the success of this meeting. As a Commission, we can be proud of the good and important decisions we've made here this week. Two that particularly stand out for us are the consensus agreement to renew strike limits for Aboriginal subsistence whaling. We've demonstrated that the Commission strongly and unambiguously supports the cultural and subsistence needs of Indigenous communities, while providing international assurance of the sustainability of the hunts. It's also important that the Commission agreed a balanced budget that accounts for inflation and ensures critical needs can be funded. This is the beginning of the journey to get our organisation onto a viable, sustainable financial track. Thank you to our excellent Executive Secretary and Secretariat for their ongoing hard work, dedication and professionalism. And finally, thank you to the Government of Peru for your warm hospitality this week. You've set an incredible standard for us. We're excited about welcoming you all to Australia in 2026. Rest assured, we'll be working hard over the next 2 years to set IWC70 up for success, including trying to ensure as smooth a visa process as possible. We'll also work with the Secretariat to confirm the host city as soon as possible, and we'll try to ensure that the meeting room is free of crocodiles and snakes and spiders and sharks and box jellyfish, but we can't promise anything. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Australia. And we now go to our host country, Peru. You have the floor.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. El Perú agradece las amables palabras de todas las delegaciones hacia el gobierno y hacia nuestro comisionado. Nos alegramos que se hayan sentido en casa. Ha sido un privilegio el haber sido sede de esta fructífera reunión que bajo su liderazgo, señor presidente, ha contribuido a fortalecer el diálogo entre nosotros y ha arribado a fructíferas decisiones. Ha sido muy grato trabajar con la Secretaría bajo la excepcional dirección de Marta Rojas en la organización de esta reunión y contribuir así a la misión y los objetivos de la Comisión para seguir construyendo juntos la gobernanza de los océanos y asegurar su conservación y sostenibilidad para beneficio de presentes y futuras generaciones. Quisiéramos también agradecer a la Comisión Permanente del Pacífico Sur, que nos ha permitido presentar como región, a través del evento paralelo Ecos del Pacífico, lo que podemos hacer en un trabajo juntos de gobiernos y sociedad civil. Vemos con ilusión nuestro próximo encuentro en Australia, bajo su presidencia y la vicepresidencia del Dr. Brito, a quienes felicitamos por su elección. En este tiempo en el que, sumándonos a sus palabras, señor presidente, la Comisión es hoy más necesaria que nunca, más importante que nunca. Finalmente, agradecer también a Julio por todo el trabajo realizado durante este año y a todos ustedes desearles un buen regreso y un próximo encuentro en Australia, donde podamos seguir continuando nuestro trabajo. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Peru. Thank you very much, Ambassador Velasquez, for your comments. I think one element of the success of this meeting that has so far gone unmentioned is the undoubtedly positive contribution that Pisco Sours have made to the workings of the meeting and all things Peruvian. So thank you very much for your comments. I now hand the floor to Korea.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, colleagues. First of all, I would like to also begin by thanking the Peruvian government once again for their wonderful hospitality. I have been enjoying this city a lot. And I'd like to express my special thanks to you, Mr. Chair. You're the only and the first chair that I've ever seen who strictly applied the 3-minute rule to everyone until the meeting ends. So thank you for that. That has contributed a lot to having this meeting end in time. And my special thanks also to Executive Secretary and her team for excellent support. Thank you for that. And also all the contracted governments and non-contracted government for their excellent engagement, which I believe made this meeting successful. Also, my special thanks to NGO and IGO for their views expressed in this meeting, which I think contribute a lot to helping us moving forward. And last but not least, I thank a lot Rapporteur and interpreters as well. I personally know how hard and difficult it is to simultaneously interpret the language to another one. So I really appreciate that. Lastly, thanks to Australia for their willingness to host our next annual meeting. I hope we will see again everyone in Australia 2 years later. I wish everyone a safe flight back home. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Korea. South Africa, you have the floor.
Excuse me for that. Thank you, Chair. South Africa would like to thank the government of Peru, the Secretariat, the Chairman, both incoming and acting, conveners, the African delegation, those with whom we share the Hamburg whale bee stock on the West Coast, the West Atlantic delegates whose whales visit our feeding group grounds, all delegates whose Hamburg visit is ours. That we actively It's amazing how farmers can bring together nations in realization that these are a resource, a natural resource, whether from an ecosystem functioning perspective, tourism, cultural, or food security perspective. So we will always differ on how to approach matters, but the ICRW exists to ensure that we can engage and win another over on issues we feel strongly about. Thus, South Africa also, we welcome this in Australia. I would like to make a quick comment before my 3 minutes is gone. While South Africa acknowledges that we've got financial issues, I think the host parties or the host countries like Peru would benefit from a tourism day during the week we are here. Thus, we owe ourselves to have 1 day break in future where we actually enjoy the host country and they can benefit from our different currencies. Anyway, see you all in Australia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, South Africa. I'm sure the suggestion of a free day will be taken as a decision of this group. That brings to an end the comments from contracting parties, and I have 3 requests from the floor from IGO and NGO participants. And I just want to make sure I am clear in my thanks to all of you in the way you've conducted yourselves throughout this meeting, for abiding by the time limits and respecting my cut-offs when I needed to make them, regretfully, but abiding by them without complaint. I thank you all for that. And I note really, genuinely, that we have all benefited from hearing the diverse views that are represented across the IGO and civil society we've heard here today. So with that, I will pass the floor to the first of the NGOs who is to take the floor. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. My name is DJ Schubert, and on behalf of several conservation and animal welfare non-governmental organizations whose names will be provided to the Secretariat, I'd like to sincerely thank the government of Peru for hosting IWC69 in the beautiful city of Lima. As we reflect on the outcomes of this meeting, we are grateful for the robust and civil deliberations throughout this week on the many issues that were on our agenda. We also welcome the willingness of all delegates to engage in dialogue with members of civil society. We are grateful for your time and your willingness to discuss these important issues with us, even when we may have differing views. We remain concerned about the fiscal health of the IWC and encourage all contracting governments to recognize the value and importance of the IWC and to support it accordingly. This is imperative to allow the IWC and its scientific committee to continue the essential work that they do to oversee implementation of the convention and to conduct and analyze the science that is crucial to the need to protect, conserve, and properly manage cetaceans and their habitats. We appreciate the Commission's approval of a transparent, pragmatic process for repayment plans at this meeting, which should help improve the bottom line of the Commission. Nevertheless, to fully remedy the current financial ills, it is imperative that all contracting governments pay their annual fees and that at IWC 70, a larger budget is approved to make the IWC financially secure. In addition, Mr. Chair, although we respect the results of the vote and appreciate that all contracting governments present at the meeting participated in the vote, we must express our disappointment yet again over the outcome of the discussion on the South Atlantic Whale Sanctuary. As has already been expressed by many others, this meeting would not be possible without the work of a large team of people, and they all deserve our sincere thanks. At the top of the list is our Executive Secretary, Marta, and her team within the Secretariat, those in the room and those in the IWC office who have worked tirelessly for months, if not years, to ensure that we could have a productive meeting. We particularly want to acknowledge the decades of extraordinary work of Stella Duff for the Commission. She will be missed, and we wish her the best in retirement. We also thank the audiovisual technicians for providing the tools that facilitated our dialogue. To our excellent interpreters, we would not be able to understand each other without your exceptional skills, so please accept our thanks for a job well done. And we are grateful to the rapporteurs at this meeting who enable our words to become part of the historical record of this Commission. Mr. Chair, we cannot conclude our closing remarks without thanking Dr. Alex Zerbini for his leadership of the Scientific Committee for the past 6 years, and welcoming Dr. Lindsay Porter and Dr. Amy Lang as the new Chair and Vice Chair of the Scientific Committee, respectively. We also thank Dr. David Matilla for his years of leadership in advancing the important work of cetacean disentanglement trainings, a crucial service that prevents enormous suffering of cetaceans. And finally, we must thank you, Mr. Chair, for your steady, balanced, and professional leadership of this meeting in the absence of Commissioner Diallo. We look forward to seeing you again in your homeland. We wish everyone safe travels to their homes and are eager to see everyone again in Australia in 2026. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, DJ, for your comments, and I pass the floor to the next NGO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make this final statement on behalf of IWMC, World Conservation Trust, and Global Guardian Trust. We are very pleased with the outcome of the meeting, and particularly the Commission's consensus agreement concerning the renewal of the ASW quota gives us reason to be hopeful for the future of Aboriginal subsistence whaling. Additionally, the acknowledgement of the concerns raised by many developing nations regarding the potential impacts of the South Atlantic Whale Sanctuary demonstrates that this Commission appears to be attentive to the wishes of developing countries. The fact that the current chair and the vice chair-elect are from West Africa gives us reason to be hopeful. In this context, let me take this opportunity to especially congratulate Dr. Brito to his new role. However, we wish wholeheartedly that the Commission does not overlook issues related to food security and human rights, as these rights are indeed universal, indivisible, interdependent, inalienable, and interrelated. Therefore, we place great expectations into the intersessional work on the resolution on food security and the potential it holds to address this crucial matter at IWC 70. We'd like to express our gratitude and congratulations to you, Mr. Chair, for your excellent leadership during this meeting and your election as Chair. We express gratitude to the Executive Secretary, to the Secretariats, interpreters, and other support staff for their hard work during this meeting, to the Government of Peru for hosting us, and of course, to all participants for their respectful engagement on critical issues. We wish everybody a safe journey home. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much indeed for the intervention, and I now pass the floor for the last intervention, I think from an IGO rather than an NGO, so I apologise for not coming to you first, but please take the floor and we will be then concluding the meeting.
Muchas gracias, Chair. En primer lugar, quisiera agradecer a la República del Perú, a su delegación, pues son unos maravillosos anfitriones que sin duda han sido parte esencial del éxito de este evento. Quisiera también felicitar a la Comisión Ballenera Internacional por su extraordinaria organización y agradecerles por su apoyo en acompañamiento y paciencia que nos permitió realizar nuestro side event y que fue todo un éxito que pudimos coronar con la firma de este memorándum de entendimiento, el cual, por la forma como comienza, creo que está acompañado de augurios de un éxito en el futuro cercano. Finalmente, también quisiera agradecer a la República de Chile, la República de Colombia, República de Ecuador, República de Perú y República de Panamá, miembros de la Comisión Permanente del Pacífico Sur, pues ellos son los motores que estimulan nuestro trabajo y que hoy nos permite estar sentados en este lugar. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much for the intervention. And with that, I will now formally end our meeting. Congratulations to you all. Please assemble at the front for the photograph. Thank you.